Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Papercrafting Thursday. I'm Leslie Watkins. It's a beautiful autumn day here in Northwest Connecticut, and I don't have anything particular planned for you today, but I thought it would be a lot of fun to just do something eclectic and spur of the moment, inspired by the autumn foliage and using up all the things that are kind of floating around in the general vicinity of my work area here. And like many of you, I'm sure you've got a lot of things in your stash, old and new, retired and current, and I suspect a few of you might have a bunch of piles of stuff on your surface as well. So stay tuned. I'm going to give you some ideas on how you can do some stash busting, and maybe a little creative inspiration. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. If you don't have your coffee, you might want to go grab some coffee. I'm going to turn you down, and I'm going to give you a reveal of all the junk that's on my desk. I've kind of collected it into some bins. All right, so I'm just gonna go through these things. Some things you may actually remember from a past video. I've got this box out, this sort of autumn theme box. I'll show you that in just a second. This is an oldie but goldie. I really like this one. I've got an old bee portfolio that I did a long time ago, and there are some scraps in here that I want to use up. This is a new box that I'm currently working on, so this is just a beautiful little holiday gift box using some current materials. I've got various embellishments and trim. I've got my collection of gold paint and watercolor. Here are some of my tools that I use to do some inking with the gold metallics. This is the stamp set. Actually, it's a pair of stamp sets, and it is a bundle. So if we look inside, we can see these wonderful dies. I may be using some of these today. Now, because I don't have anything prepared ahead of time, this may take a little bit longer than usual. So just giving you a heads up, that's why you might want to have some coffee to hand. And this is, what is this? This is an adorable little matchbox that also features the Golden Greenery set. Now, of course, this is right up my alley, because what could be better than gold and greenery? So my two MO things. I have no idea how old this die set may be, but I really like this sprig that has these wonderful ivy looking leaves, so I thought that might be a maybe. This is another favorite of mine, this kind of all over gorgeous garden. I've got some stencils. I've got a selection of various embellishments, some old, some new. Bits of things like this. I've got some papers that I've already done some die cutting on. All right, but I think you get the idea here. Okay, it's just sort of anything goes. And then down below, I have some other things here. These are the card bases and scraps that just sort of litter the little stacking thing, the little organizer that I have on my desk, and so these are a lot of these things. There's some nice gold foil. A lot of these things are really good paper. So there's some 100% rag watercolor paper. There are some card bases ready to go, and a little bit of stamping and painting. So that might be kind of fun. All sorts of goodies. Now, I showed you this not too long ago, but sometimes when I have my beginning watercolor classes, sometimes the students will leave things behind. And that was the case with these exercises, all right? And this is not necessarily anything that anyone's going to be hanging on the wall or giving to somebody as a gift, but this will make an awesome card base. So this is the sort of autumn foliage theme that I'm using as my jumping off point for my inspiration. Now, I also want to find a card base. Now, I saw some in here. Let's see. Let's see what we've got. That could be kind of fun. All right. I don't even remember what color this is, but it may or may not be a current color with the cardstock, but I'm not looking for matchy-matchy right now. Like I said, this is going to be all about scrap busting. And I'm gonna invite you to do this along with me. You don't necessarily have to do it right this minute, but I'm going to start a new thread in the Facebook group. So I'm talking about the watercolor and Stampin' Up! Projects, watercolor and Stampin' Up! Papercrafting projects Facebook group, where I invite you all to share the things that you're making. And people that have retired product are more than welcome to share it. So I'm gonna give you an invitation to join me in the new scrap busting thread, which I haven't even started yet, but I will do after the video today. And I'm going to ask you to go ahead and just post your most creative inspiration for the rest of us so that we can all use it as a launching point. And maybe if there is enough interest, maybe I will have a challenge with a prize. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you're not a member of that group, you're more than welcome to join us. And it's absolutely free, and it's a beautiful community of very creative paper crafters. And all you have to do is just put a comment below so I can recognize your name, and then find it in Facebook. And again, the name of that group is Watercolor and Stampin' Up! Paper Crafting Projects. I will find your name and I will invite you in. You must ask to be invited in, and I will let you in. And so there's that. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of measuring just to get things started here. I'm going to check that my video is live, and so far so good. That looks okay. And I see Kelly and Carol. Hello ladies, nice to see you here. I want a little gold edge, and I'm pretty sure I've got some gold scraps in here. Let me open this up. Ooh, that's perfect, right on the top there. That'll be just the right size. And oh, got these things. Got some vellum. Okay, I don't need everything, but that one little scrap is perfect. So I'm going to use that. Okay, like so. So I'm going to cut that to size. This note card base is a standard size, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit to 4 1/8, and let's see what this looks like. Oops, that wasn't 4 1/8. What am I doing here? Did I do it right? Oh, I did do it right. Okay, never mind. Oh, geez. I'm second guessing myself now. All right, and then this is going to be about here. Okay, so that's the beginning. Now, I'm going to be using some things that I don't use a lot of, and I should really use more. So I've got this wonderful tear ruler, which I absolutely love. So it's got 2 different edges on it, so I can have a very rough one or a not so rough one. If you don't have one of these, you could always use your deckled dies. But actually, all right, nope. Change of plan. You're going to have a lot of change of plan here today. I just realized I've already torn this edge by hand, so I'm just going to continue with what I've already got here. So let's do a little measuring. I want just a bit of that gold to show. And I'll do the same thing on this side. And this does not have to be perfect, okay? This is meant to be a handcrafted item. So any signs of human activity is more than welcome here. We don't want it to look like it's machine made. And go ahead and give that a good burnish. This paper, if you're curious, is 100% ragged watercolor paper. It is a hot press surface, so it doesn't have as much texture as a cold press or a rough, but it's very nice for journal making and also card making, although rough would be fine and add wonderful texture. But like I said, we're going with what I have to hand here. All right, so we've got this so far. These, of course, are going to be great for something else. And what I want to do is I want to get the edges with a little bit of gold. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab my, let's see, I'll use this one. And I want this to be a fairly heavy application, so I'm going to go ahead with this Delicata inker. So this is the same one that replenishes this stamp pad, okay? But I'm going to go straight to the sponge. I see Sandra and Ginger. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody has a beautiful day wherever you may be. I've been reading, some of the stories of people that were hit hard with the hurricanes, and it's absolutely devastating. And I'm so sorry, so very, very sorry. It's sounds like it couldn't be worse. All right, so I've got a blob of ink on there. I'm going to blot that a little bit, so I'm just going to smooth it out slightly. And now I can go ahead and cover up that white edge. Okay, and that's going to give me a little bit of a shine. And what this is going to do is it's going to help this paper to merge with this this distressed gold decorative paper. Look how beautiful that is. I love that. All right, so I think you can see how very quickly you can take a discarded watercolor exercise, and you know I'm always asking you to keep your watercolors out so that you can play with them as much as possible, and just kind of, you know, doing these sort of things where you're learning how to control the amount of water to the amount of pigment you have on your brush. They're, you know, they can be a launching point for the sky's the limit. Now I want to bring some of that gold a little bit more into the corners. So I'm just coming down like so. All right, now I am going to take this over to my sewing machine. I am not an expert sewer. I'm a sloppy sewer. What can I say? So it might take me a minute or two to get this situated. While I'm doing that, now's your chance to replenish your coffee cup if it's time for a quick coffee break. So here's my base. I'm going to go ahead and mute the sound because you don't need to listen to all that sound. I wish I had music to give you, but you can just check your phone in the meantime. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Can everybody hear me? It looks like you can from my end, but just checking, because you know sometimes things happen. Now I'm a little bit fussy about my ends here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie that off if I can. Okay, there's 1 and 2. Now I don't even know, all of you sewers out there, you can tell me, is this a thing? Do you bother to do this, or am I just being a little over the top? Because I really don't know. I'm just grabbing the beginning and the end threads, and I'm putting a simple double knot in just so they don't come undone. It's probably completely overkill, but you know, I'm one of these people that believes it's all in the details. So if you take the extra little time to do these things, it shows in the end result. Now that's not to say that I don't like things messy and eclectic and scattered and all. I love that, I do. But I go the other way as well. All right, so let's give that a little burnish. Spread that glue so I don't have too many lumps. This is what we've got so far. Okay, move this out of the way, move this out of the way, clear the surface a little bit. Now, I thought it might be fun to add a little bit of gold stenciling. That's kind of pretty. I have no idea. I'm just grabbing whatever's handy. And, oh, where? Well, I'm not sure where my blending brushes are at the minute. I think they might still be in the need to get unpacked category from the pop-up shop. So I'm just going to very quickly go back in with my juicy sponge here, and let's see which is going to be the top. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to put this down here. I'm not sure if anything's happening here. But you know what? I'm going to add a little more of that gold ink just to be sure. This the one drawback to this ink is that it does seem to dry out a little bit. I mean, it's still moist on the pad, but you do have to add. So I guess if you're gonna get some of the refiller, get more than one so that you have plenty. There we go. That looks a little better. And I don't want this to be perfect. It's just sort of here and there. Let's see what that looks like. Not very much. Okay, I need to press a little bit harder. I can do that. I'm being a little too delicate. There we go. Okay, so do you see that? Just a sort of a glimmer when it catches the light. Very pretty. And we'll put a little more up here as well. A lot of this is going to be covered up. So just background. There we go. All right, so that's all I'm looking for, just a little bit of that. Maybe this corner down here could use a little extra attention. Because this, I think this corner will show. Now, I made these proportions for a standard size card, but this could easily, and actually I may decide to do this. This could easily be the cover of a note card box, and that might be a lot of fun to do. So there we go. It's looking really pretty. Just wondering about this corner now. So if you use the sponge like I am here, you're going to have to give it a good press so that it goes beyond the thickness of the stencil. Okay, I'm going to put this aside to be cleaned. Done with this. Alrighty, now I have a selection of things that I'm interested in using, and among them are these brand new woven golden leaves, and they're pretty cool. Let's see, there's a whole bunch of them in here, and it looks like there's a couple of different sizes. I believe these are currently available, and I love them. So I'm going to get these back in their little bags so they don't go flying around here. And they're flying. Okay. There are a lot in here. Look at how many you got. That's so good. All right, so they're kind of like screening material, golden screening material. So they're a wonderful mesh. They're kind of flat, and I thought, although they do have a little bit of a texture, so I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but you can get a little bit of a sort of a, you see a leafy veining design, which is kind of nice. And but I think what they need to do is they need to be dimensional to make them particularly nice, and so that that glimmer, that golden glimmer, is picked up by the light. So I'm just putting a little pinch in the base of some of these leaves. I'm not going to need all of these. Let's put a couple of these back. So what I'm looking for is a kind of a cluster. I'm going to have to stitch these together, which will be easy enough. So there we go. I also, we talked earlier about all of the stuff that accumulates on your desk. I also have stuff that looks like this. Okay? Do you have all this? I know you do. Don't try to hide it. I know you do. Who's got stuff like this on their work surface? Please don't tell me I'm the only one. Ooh, there's a really nice ribbon. So what I'm doing is I'm rummaging. I'm going to rummage through all these things. I think I see some die cuts. Oh, look at that. Autumn die cuts. Oh, and gold. Oh my gosh. Okay, you see, you never know what you're going to find. All sorts of beautiful. leafy die cuts. Let's celebrate everything. Sounds good to me. Okay. Put that aside. What else? I've got some open leaf trinkets. These are definitely an older item. Okay, I could use one of those. Oh my. Oh my goodness. I don't know where that came from. Oh, here's another one. How could that be? Now look at this. This is very cool. Okay, so now this is some kind of a sort of a fabric paper. It's just a scrap, and I put some of the gold stitching on it. That could be useful. That's it. I wish you could feel it. You know, it's one of these sort of a hybrid paper fabric. If you look closely, it's got a kind of a weave texture to it, but look at that beautiful color. All right, well that all looks good to me, and that looks like a bunch of junk. Okay, what's in here? Oh, well I've got some bee charms here, but they're kind of big and heavy, so I don't think I want to use those right now. There are some, there's some really pretty beads in here, but I don't know if my, I need my beading needle for that, and I don't have that handy right now, so I'm just going to leave those for the next time. All right, I should have a beading needle handy, but this is, like I said, this is going to be a longer video, so I want to make sure that I don't keep you here all day long. Kelly says, if you secure the thread at the beginning and end by going forward and back, you don't have to hand tie. Oh, what am I missing? Oh, I know. Okay. I do that, Kelly. I do have that reverse button on my machine, so I do a little bit of that. Thank you for that. Any other comments here? Ginger says it looks just like my craft table. You know what? I'm going to add to this little post that I'm going to establish in the group, and I'm going to invite you to take a snapshot, if you dare, of what some of the goodies look like in your inspiration pile, shall we call it? Okay, your inspiration pile. All right, well this is getting kind of exciting. I mean, I wasn't planning for this to be so much about autumn leaves, but I see a theme developing here. I also do want to do a quick die cut of this beautiful thing, and it looks like this scrap might be just right. Close enough. Close enough. Does not have to be perfect and for this exercise. You know, a session like this is really just the sort of thing that we should do live in a Zoom, so that people can share as we go along, and we can talk and see each other. So that might be an idea for the future. Anybody on board for doing a Zoom crafting session? Let me know. Let me know what you think. Bev says, what dies are those? These are called, I don't don't know. It says SX, and I'm not sure what SX stands for. Garden Greens 9. All right, let's see what these look like. Oh, they're beautiful. That's very nice. Okay, really pretty. Perfect. Poke those things out later. You know, I kind of like this too. Let me get a green. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. Hold on. The ideas are coming fast and furious now. I need some green. I've got some green. Perfect. Okay, remember, our mission today is to use up scraps. Now what did I do with it? Oh my gosh, there it is. Is that gonna fit? Just about. Just about. Sort of not quite, but good enough. Looks like I'm gonna miss 1 point of 1 leaf, but that's okay. Nobody will know. All right, and then maybe, since I have everything out, I don't know if I'm gonna want this, but this looks like it would fit nicely on there. So if it fits, it fits. There we go. That funny cat meme of the cat sitting inside the tiny container with the sentiment that says, if I fits, I sits. Okay. All right, so I think we've got enough of that for the moment. Let's see what we've got here. So look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And I've got this and this. Now the reason I was interested in these two in particular is because they've got these little berry shapes on them. Let me see if I can give you a better look. Okay, see, so little berry shapes. So what I'm going to do is somewhere here I have that stuff, I think, unless, oh, I may have brought that. Okay, hold on. I have to go to a different box here. Okay, I'm looking for this, but in gold, if it's handy. This is the downfall of not having everything ready for you before I begin, but it is what it is. All right, so I guess we're going to do a little bit of red, which is not a bad thing. Red berries. By the way, I have red berries. I have purple berries. I've got crab apples. I've got so many berries. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use this, but I'm not going to put it on yet because it takes a minute to dry. So I'll do that off camera. But just, this is the Pearlized Enamel Effects Basics. And maybe maybe I'll also find the gold so I can use the gold, because I know that's here someplace. All right, so that is going to be in the thumbnail. It's not going to be here in this portion of the program. All right, now the next thing I want to do is I want to get my leaves together, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to stitch them. Get one of my needles. And some linen thread. I don't need very much, I just need a little piece. Sandra says she loves watching me create. Oh, Sandra, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm kind of a this is you know, it could go the potential for this to go either way is great. All right, so now my thought is, so here's a larger leaf. Maybe I'll use this as a base. Let me see if I can zoom you in a little bit better so you can see better. Okay, so here's my larger leaf, and then what I want to do is, like I said, I want to give these things dimension. So I'm going to come up and through like so. I'm going to leave myself a little bit of a tail so I can tie it. Oh, you know what? Hello. I'm going to stitch it to the card. All right, where's my poker? Here we go. It's one of them. Where's the other one? There we go. All right. Okay. Does everybody have one of these tools? This is a retired item. Absolutely love this thing. It's not too soon to get these down. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but I think you understand. I think you're all up to it. So here's my thinking here. I've got 3 groups of different shaped die cuts. I want the gold to be on the top because it's sparkly. So I'm just going to take my long green, and remember that I will add some kind of dimensional berries to these, and it could be a it could be that stuff that takes a while to dry, or it could be embellishments, like little gold embellishments would be very pretty. Could be a combination of both. Actually, let's leave this flat for a second. Oops, sorry, I'm off camera. Forgive me. There we go. I don't even have a reason for making this project today, although I think that's always a good idea if you understand what the purpose of the thing is. But in this case, it's just a celebration of autumn. It's my favorite time of year. I need to clean up my surface here, and I just feel like it. All right, I'm going to give you a quick update on what's happening right now. So you see we've got the scrap of the watercolor that was discarded, that somebody else would have tossed. We've got some of the beautiful gold stenciling. We've got the texture of the metallic gold thread. Now these beautiful, beautiful die cuts, which I will be adding to in a bit. And then these things, which I kind of love a lot. I have, so for those of you who don't know, before I moved to Dandelion Cottage, I lived in the West Village of Manhattan, and I lived there for 35 years. And it was the smallest apartment in the building. It was a studio apartment, and it was dark and almost in the basement and all the way in the back. It was pretty dreary, but it was my little sanctuary there. And I had a courtyard garden in the back of the building that my big window looked out onto. And I had this great big 6-foot by 6-foot window in this little tiny apartment that looked out onto this barren courtyard that had been abandoned. And I'd gotten a little pot of ivy from the corner store, and it had made its way out there to get the little bit of light that was available. I'm gonna switch you back to the surface so you can see here what I'm doing. I'm gonna talk and glue at the same time, which could be dangerous, by the way. But I had this little pot of ivy that loved it out there. Even though it was extremely shady, this was the Hederic helix, so it was the English ivy, just your basic kind of ivy. And that little pot of ivy kind of thrived. And I would go out and water it every so often. And it gave me the inspiration to make a garden. And so I made a garden in my courtyard garden, and that's a much longer story. But it was that little ivy that gave me the inspiration to do that. And when I moved to Dandelion Cottage, I brought cuttings of that ivy with me. And now that ivy is growing around the entrance to Dandelion Cottage. So basically this ivy and I have had a relationship for nearly 40-45 years. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Plants, you know, we have these house plants. I've been doing a lot of repotting of house plants right now because they're sort of coming in and they really needed the attention. And you know, we have house plants that belong to our grandmothers, or cuttings from a dear friend, or sometimes people take a cutting from a plant from an old cemetery, from a forgotten grave. A lot of times you can find these ancient old rose bushes in forgotten cemeteries. So, you know, we have this incredible relationship with plants. And so this ivy on the cover of my project here, which I think is going to turn into a box rather than a card, we'll see, reminds me of the ivy that inspired me to make a garden and brought me pretty much to where I am today with my relationship between plants and watercolors and botanicals and now garden design as well. So that's kind of cool. Little aside story. Sorry to detract. All right. So now we've got this. Now I can take my poker tool and I'm going to come down a little bit. Let's see. Let me see how big these leaves are. Yeah, a little bit. So I'm going to say down here. And I want it to go sideways, so I'm going to put two little, going to give this a snake bite. I think of these two little holes as a little snake bite. Can you see that? So there, oops, hello, hello. One right there and one over here. And I'm going to be able to thread through those. Now, take my linen thread, come up through there. Actually, I'm going to go down because I want the tail to be on the top so I can tie it. And I want to make sure I leave myself enough of a tail to tie something. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to take a bigger leaf, and so this one, it's okay if this one is a little bit flat because this one's going to be at the base. So I'm just going to go through there. I'm just going to stitch that in place so I can eyeball it better. Come back up through my leaf, what are these things called? Woven golden leaves. Okay, there it is. Oops, sorry. Woven golden leaves. And there's the number if you're interested in that. I will have a materials list of some of the basic things after the video, but like I said, this is not about bundles or stamps or whatnot. This is about just clearing off the desk. And now what I'm doing is I've got this sort of folded over. I've got this folded over on itself, and I'm going through both so that I have a folded leaf. And I'm going to go ahead and do that with these other two. Like so, and I'm just going to string them all together. And then go back through my base, get these things sorted. Kind of move them around. All right, now I've got some dimension. Now I'm feeling happier about my golden leaves. Come back up. Sorry if my head's in the way. Just want to make sure that that stays nice and flat in the back. And give these a little bit of an arrangement. I'm going to go through again. Oops, lost my tail. Hang on. Oops, hold on. I can do it. I can get that through there. There we go. Got it. Oh my. There. All right, and then back up to the surface so that we can tie it off. Pull my needle out. Give that a good tug. Not too strong, just enough. Tie it in a knot. There we go. And I don't think I want a bow on this one, but I do want these, oops, sorry. All right, let me zoom you out. I'm a little bit too close here. Okay, I do like these really long tails, but I'm not going to tie a bow, so I'm just going to trim this one so it's on the surface here. Yeah, I like that just as it is, and I haven't even started doing the embellishments. I'm going to add a little sentiment, a tag, I think a little tag. Oh, and then I've got my charm. Oh my goodness, I forgot my charm. Let's put that on there. Oh yes. Good thing I left those tails long. Well, that's very fun. It's starting to get a little bit of a heft. It's looking very autumn foliage to me. I think these little yellow leaves would be really pretty too. We'll come back to those. Right now I need a sentiment. For the moment I'm going to just put it here so I can see that. So what I like about this violet color is that it's a complement to the gold. So it just helps to make that gold look a little brighter, having that sort of dull violet in the background. We need a sentiment. So I'm going to go back into my box here and no. Well, that might be kind of nice. It's white. Oh, it's so bright. Let me see. I'm going to go into the other scrap box. That's nice. All right, so here's another scrap from that same watercolor. That would work. Let me just take a quick look. Oh, this one's a little stiffer. I think we'll use that because I want this to be a tag. Okay, that'll do it. I've hardly put a dent into my stash here. I'm going to go back to this set because it has a very pretty For You, which I like. So this is the Greetings of the Season. This is terrific for Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, winter solstice, all the things. There's a broad selection of sentiments here. The For You, I know I've used it before, but I really like it. It's probably going to be one of those stamps that gets used quite a bit. So I'm just going to find a little. Ooh, it's got fuzz on it. I need to clean this up. I can do that. I'm going to give it a little spritz. Somebody put their stamp away dirty. Who could have done that? There we go. Now it's all better. Now you could do a heat embossed, but for the sake of time, I know I've kept you for a long time, I'm just going to go ahead and ink it. I'm using the wild wheat. And because this is the Fluid 100 watercolor paper, it's got a little bit of a texture on it. So I'm going to get this really inky and hold it in place for a minute because I want that ink, and I'm pressing it fairly firmly. I want that ink to get down into all those little grooves. So there it is. And also, with the greetings of the season, you get these very nice tags. Now, I don't know if this will fit on here. This one's not going to fit. This one's a little big, but it is pretty. It's really pretty. I'm gonna try that. I may have to cut it down if it's too big, but I do like it. I get the machine back up again. We're in the home stretch here. You know, when I tell you to bring coffee to one of these extravaganzas, it usually means because I'm afraid it's going to run a little long and you're going to need some beverage to see you through. As I mentioned, this is the Fluid 100. It's extra thick. I'm going to go through a few times, make sure I get that. And that looks gorgeous. Really pretty. Right now, I think we're done with this for the moment. I wonder if I want to add more. This could be really pretty. I also have this twine. This is jute twine, and I have this. It's really nice. No. Huh. I kind of like that. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that if this becomes the top to a box, let's say a note card box or something of that nature, then this would be very pretty to tie around the sides of the box and use that tag. So you know what? Just for the minute, all I'm going to do is add a little bit of the linen thread, and I think that this is going to be the tag that I use to wrap the box up with. So there we go, and you know what? Hey, since we've got gold in front of us, let's add some gold. And that looks really pretty, both because of the wonderful texture that this little border on the tag makes, and also the added texture of the Fluid 100 cold press watercolor paper. And you know what's really interesting is that the plates on my die cutting machine are getting about ready to be retired, but they are adding even more texture to the piece, which I quite like. So if I just sort of skim the surface here a little bit, I might be able to accentuate that a bit. And this helps to cut the brightness of the tag too, because I want it to blend in a little better with everything I have there. I don't want it to take over. There's a lot of very pretty elements to this card that are more important than that tag is at the moment. Okay, well, it's coming together. I would like to add some of these beautiful autumn leaves, and this is the metallic gold foil, and so I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals so I can get a little bit of a curl. So I'm going to just very gently bend that with my bone folder. And I know my dimensionals are in one of these boxes. I took them out so that they'd be handy, but then they got buried, so oh dear, I may have to get some others. I can do that. I remember these dies from that beautiful autumn suite that had the, I think it was berry burst in it. So it was kind of gold and berry burst and all the autumn colors. I loved that. And, you know, a lot of times these things go on to the clearance rack, and you can stock up on some of your favorite things before they disappear. Yeah, that looks really pretty. Okay, I'm going to do it again. I like that so much, I'm going to do it again. And I'm just, oh, I bring it down a little bit. I'm just sticking that underneath there, if I can. There we go. And let's see, maybe one of these little tiny ones, I'll glue that down, and it will give the impression of a beautiful golden oak leaf blowing off into the distance because it's smaller. Okay, give that a blot. Alright, so that's what we have so far, and I really like it. Remember, we'll have some berries. Let's clear off some of these things a little bit so I can find everything. Quick cleanup. I can see that these mesh leaves are one of those things that are just going to be turning up everywhere. Let me close that up before we have a leaf pile. Okay. All right. Dies, tweezers, snips, another leaf, of course. This we didn't end up using, but that'll be fun for something else. All right, I think the next thing, I'm just going to put this aside because I do want to use that with my tag. Now for the little embellishments. I think we're ready for the home stretch. Oh, there are the dimensionals. I knew they'd turn up. All right, so that's the green. You know, these are those champagne rhinestones. I've got tons of these. I love them. I think we're going to use those. But, oh, look, see, I told you, tons. This is just the tip of the iceberg, but I also really like these. These are the blooming pearls. And I may use a couple of those. All right, let's do that. I'm going to use both. Let me put this so that you can see it nicely. Okay. So I'm going to use these very tiny, I hope the light's okay, it looks kind of dark. But I'm going to use these very tiny little golden ones. And I'm not going to do every single little place on the die. I'm just going to add a few here and there. You know, it's like that pokeweed that I had, that I was painting yesterday. Sometimes the birds take a lot of the berries, and there's just a few left on the little branch. So that's what we've got here. Oops, stuck to my finger. That's looking pretty good. And I'm going to take a larger one, put that over here, and just check to see where that is. Right there, okay. Just going to put that there. Make sure those are stuck on well. And now I'll get my champagne rhinestones, and I'm going to put some of that sparkle in with my beautiful ivy. It's just these little tiny ones, and I'm just putting them in these little intersections. Tuck one under there. Really sweet. So I think that's it for the moment. It's entirely possible that I'll think of something else to add to it, but for the sake of our time together today, let me just move these things away. I think that's going to do it. All right, so I give you a, put it this way so you can see it better. Could go either way, but that's going to fit the screen a little bit better. So what do you think? What do you think? Does it need a pop of color? Maybe it needs a pop of color. I'm not sure. Or maybe we just keep it these beautiful autumn tonalities, which I love so much. Get my little leaf charm there. All right, so listen, ladies. Just about everything on here. Whoa, where'd my tag go? With the exception of the tag, I lost my tag. Here it is. Just about everything on here where am I going to put this? I don't want to cover up all my beautiful embellishments. I'm going to stick it down at the bottom here. Is scrap. All right, so the challenge is scrap busting. So autumn theme, I'm going to create a post over in the private group where you can share your creations, okay? And again, the name of that group is Watercolor and Stampin' Up! Papercraft Projects. You may use retired product or new product. If you combine paper crafting with watercolor, better yet, okay? So that's what I did here. And for those of you who are in my watercolor classes, I know you've got scraps of watercolor around, so, you know, add a little bit of gold, a little stitching, maybe some heat embossing, all the things, and you've got something beautiful. And yeah, we'll have, I think we'll make a little challenge. Let me think about it a little bit more. Let me write up the details, but get ready. If you're just tuning in here for the first time, then welcome to Dandelion Cottage. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope you found something to inspire you. I hope you had some fun. I hope you had a cup of coffee. And put your name in the comments below. Say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And then if you decide that you'd like to be invited into the group where you can actually share your projects, I'll be able to recognize your name. And when you ask to be invited in, I'll recognize it and I can let you right in there. All right, so that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for this very long, kind of kooky project today. I'm glad you were here with me. Stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.